I'm Becky Meagher, and welcome to Transitions, Body, Mind, and Spirit. Transitions. We all go through transitions in our life. And I use the metaphor of triathlons. For instance, I've been doing triathlons 11 years, and first you swim, and then you go to the transition area, and then you bicycle, and then again it's a transition, and then you run. And that is a great metaphor for life. How do we change from one thing to another to another? And I have a very interesting guest. In fact, this is show number 2, and make sure you see number 1. On our first show, we talked to Dr. Kirk Whitaker-Jones about his life and transitioning from being a lawyer for over 20 years to becoming a healer and a chiropractor. And on this show, he is going to actually demonstrate what he does as a chiropractor. So welcome, Dr. Kirk Jones. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
Yes.
Please too.
Now, we have some very interesting machines that I want you to kind of explain what this is, kind of a to Z on chiropractic, and then we actually have a patient who you're going to work on. But first, if we came to your clinic, Bellevue Chiropractic Clinic, we would first experience this. What is this?
This is a high-low adjusting table. So what it does is a person stands on the platform and leans up against the table, then it goes down. So you don't have to lie down on a flat table at the time. So this is much easier for transitioning into being prone on the table. The table goes down and then I start to work on the person.
Okay.
This next picture shows a percussor here that I use to relax the muscles in the body. There's also another percussor up here and a variable adjuster there. They're electrical tools that I use to try to get the person's body relaxed before I start to adjust the body.
Okay.
This tool is very good. It's a body composition analyzer, and a person would stand on that with bare feet. And it would take in their, it would give them a reading of their BMI, body mass index. So it gives them a muscle fat content. It also gives you the amount of fat you have in your body, whether it's in the good range, it's a little low, or it's a little high. And it would give your water content. And at the end, you could determine what your metabolic age is. Well, your chronological age, see, my chronological age is 64. My metabolic age on this machine is 49. So it shows that internally I'm younger than I am in a chronological way, so, in a value. So this next picture is of a mechanical traction table. So a person lies on that on their back, and there's a roller that comes up and relaxes the paraspinal muscles along the spinal cord. This is a picture of the muscle stim units we have. We've got interferential units that give you muscle stim on an area. It contracts the muscles in the body, then it relaxes them. It goes from 0 to 250 beats a second, and in that process relaxes the body. This is an ultrasound. So you'd use that ultrasound if you had inflammation in a joint in areas that need to be relaxed and uninflamed in a sense. This is a scanner. A person would stand on that, and the weight of their foot would be scanned, and it would show the areas of their foot that they're putting weight on. It had different colors, and you have 3 arches in your foot, and it would show whether all of your arches are working or not. They would take the picture of that scan. It gets emailed to the company that makes orthotics, and that orthotic company would use your actual weight on the scan to build the orthotic that you'd fit between your shoe and your foot. Now this next tool is a Pharmanex biophotonic scanner. You put your hand on a blue light that comes out of the scanner, and that'll measure your carotenoid score. So you want a higher score for showing that your body has less more antioxidants, less oxidation.
Okay.
This picture is a picture of an inversion table. That table allows you to go upside down. So we have pressure coming down on us, gravity. When you go upside down, that reverses the gravity. I read about these some time ago, and I found astronauts, when they went into outer space, they had a perfect diet, liquids and solids, and they had no gravity pulling them down. So they'd come back to Earth 1 to 2 inches taller.
Wow.
So using this inversion table, you set it for your particular height, and you go upside down about 60 degrees, and it allows you to relax into a taller state.
How long do you hang on this thing?
We start at 30 seconds, then 45 seconds, then a minute, come back up to level, and then generally speaking, you could do 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Okay.
Now this next picture is of a far infrared table where these come down and you have infrared radiation coming into your body, and you have a chi machine at the end, which you'll see later on, and that moves your feet back and forth, so it kind of relaxes your whole spine. The infrared gives you a healthy ray coming in to reduce inflammation, increase your blood flow, get more oxygen into your body. This last picture is a hyperbaric chamber, and that chamber is set up to increase your oxygen intake. You're breathing in 96% oxygen in the mask, and the chamber increases in pressure from sea level to 10 feet below sea level, or 0 pounds per square inch to 4.3 pounds per square inch. And that gives a person a chance to get more oxygen into their body. It's good for wound healing. We used it for bends earlier on. It's also good for people with are diabetic. It's very helpful for cancer. Cancer does not like oxygen, it kills it. So we want to increase a person's health by, it's also good for athletes. If you've done a game and you've built up a lot of lactic acid in your muscles, you want that lactic acid to squeeze out. This will reduce that lactic acid by replacing it with oxygen.
Wow. So these are all at your Bellevue Chiropractic Clinic in
That's
Bellevue
correct.
in Nashville, Tennessee. But so these are all there, but you're going to demonstrate kind of A to Z. What do you do when a patient walks in and you're going to work on them?
Yes.
So let's see that.
Will Fisher's here lying on his belly here. What I would first do is I see if his hips are in alignment. What I do is I go to his ankles and I put my index fingers on his interior ankle, put the balls of his feet together, and I look at my index fingers. It just so happens in this view, my left index finger is higher than my right. That tells me that his left hip has rotated. You have a ball and socket joint here. The socket has moved like that, bringing the ball up. So what I would do is I'd move his socket like that, bringing the ball down. And I put pressure here, and adjust like that. There's no sound. It's just a little bit of a movement. And I look here, and now my index fingers are level. His heels are level. Next, I would come to his lumbar spine, and I'd put one hand on his sacrum, the other hand on his spine, and just stretch this area. I want his body to be completely relaxed before I start to adjust him. So after I've stretched that, I use a percussor. It's called Genie Rub. Start it up, and I work his muscles, allowing them to relax as I come through. Come up his spine, from his lumbar spine to his thoracic spine. Then I come to his shoulders. We hold a lot of tension in our shoulders. Get a little relaxation there. And Will, what I want you to do is I want you to breathe slow, deep, and continuously. The deeper you can breathe now, the more relaxed you'll be. Then I come back down to the lumbar spine and do his buttocks. Come down his hamstring muscles. Come down to his calf muscle. And then activate his foot. He might be a little ticklish, so he'll respond a little bit like that, but it allows it to relax. Then come back up, and I do the other side. I have another tool here. It's called a variable adjuster, and I would use this on him, on his spine, just moving the joints of his spine forward and back. I want his body to be completely relaxed when I want to start to adjust them. I also have another percussor that's good for pinpoint areas. I usually use this on the masseter muscle, the pterygoid muscle on the jaw to keep that relaxed. But right now, what I want Will to do is roll over on your left side so you're facing me over here. I'm going to bring this shoulder over a little bit. Now straighten your lower leg, bend your upper leg. I'm going to bring your hips over a little bit more. And what I'm using is I'm going to use your knee as leverage, and I'm going to laterally adjust your lumbar spine and put pressure there. Over on your right side now. The lumbar spine can get out of adjustment on a rotational. Straighten your lower leg. Bring this over a little bit more. Open up the shoulder. There you go. And now over on your belly again, please. Now we come up into the thoracic spine, and we're going to be going from posterior to anterior. So I'm going to be pushing in here. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Deep breath in and exhale. Deep breath in and exhale. Again. One more time. Okay, now on the high-low table, we can loosen up this part of the table and get a little more movement there. And if any of the vertebrae are behind the ones above and below it, they'll cavitate. You'll hear a little click. The vertebra will go back into place, and you'll have equal nerve energy through both sides. Now, could you bring your right hand up behind your back? What I like to do is, before I get to the cervical spine, I put my my knee on your hand so you don't have to use any muscles to hold your arm up, and I relax your shoulders a little bit. There's some trigger points in here, so it might be tender a little bit. But I get that loose. Bring that hand down. Bring your left hand up. And work this one. See, this keeps me in good shape. It's almost like a workout when I'm working on somebody. Bring that hand down. Then I work the trigger points a little bit more here. In the scapulas, you'll find you'll have tenderness there. If there is tenderness there, you can get a tennis ball, put it on the floor, and then roll onto it. Have the ball go around and make points there. Then I do a little adjustment of the upper thoracic. Okay, now I'd like you to roll over on your back, please. Bend your knees a little bit. Okay, now I have you hug yourself. So your left arm is over your right arm, up high. Now you're going to tuck your chin into your chest and keep it there the entire time. As you sit up, take a deep breath in. I put my hand in his lumbar spine and then just deep breath in. Again. Again. Good. Now, those would cavitate if the vertebra was in front of the ones above and below it. Now you can straighten your arms. What I want to do now is I want to just stretch his spine just a little bit, allowing it to relax. Sometimes people can feel tension in the muscles that are tighter down their spine. And the cervical spine is rotation also. What I do is I check how far does he rotate to the left, to the right. He goes a little further to the right than the left. So that tells me that he's out of alignment in his upper right side and his lower left. So I take a tissue pull over here and just lateral flexion. And I'm going to come straight through here. And I ask him some oblivious question like, what day of the week were you born? And his mind goes to that question, and I can then adjust his neck. And we had cavitations there, C5, C6. Another one up here. Good. Rotation, rotation. All righty. What we do then is down at the ankle, there's a number of bones in the foot, but two bones that get out of alignment. The cuboid bone is on the outside and navicular is on the inside. So what I do is I take a pull here and I just quickly move it. And that moved and cavitated the cuboid bone. Navicular was in alignment, didn't move. Okay. So what that told us so far, now I work the toes a little bit. Sometimes they'll cavitate a little bit. What that told us is this cuboid bone was out over here. The left hip was out, so he was kind of having a bit of a crisscross, out of alignment here, out of alignment up here. At this point in time, he's ready to get up and leave. What I can do at different times when I can see on their neck, if I come in here and I feel their masseter muscle here, it's a little tight, so I come in with this and I do it really slow. And you can keep your lips closed, but I want your teeth to be open a little bit. I get this on here, and it just relaxes that masseter muscle. And then on the other side, a little bit longer. And then I put my little finger into the pterygoid muscle, and I attach the percussor to my finger so that my fingertip is massaging the masseter, the pterygoid muscle. Okay. Now, if there's a person that doesn't like regular adjustments, there's an activator. This is a machine, a tool that puts pressure right on the vertebra itself. So if he did not want his neck manually adjusted, I would come in with this, find the area that's out of alignment, bring this in, and then that just, you set it up for a certain pressure, and then that makes a quick movement and allows the whole, that part of the spine to relax and become aligned again. What we then would bring him up, have him walk around, see how he feels, and hopefully there is no pain, and that would be the end of the adjustment. An important thing that I would want to mention to him is that the alignment can occur when you don't eat the right kind of foods. If you have more sugar in your diet than protein, if you don't have a balanced nutritional diet. So what I'd like to do now is I'd like to bring Susan Fisher up and have her show you what the Chi machine does. So, okay. So the Chi machine is a very wonderful machine because what it does, scoot down a little bit further. Good. What it does is it moves the legs back and forth. And when it starts moving the legs back and forth, the right dimension, it's now making her legs as if they're the tail of a fish. And it goes in and it starts to relax the spine. And it comes in, it goes up the spine a little further. As her muscles relax, as her body relaxes, it allows her whole body to actually get more oxygen in. This can be seen as a way of walking. Instead of going out and walking in cold weather, now you could get on your Chi machine for 30 minutes and allow yourself to be relaxed in that position. It takes a little bit of time to get used to, but oftentimes people fall asleep on it and they just stay there when it's done, relaxed and comfortable. We can leave her there. What I would say to her would be, keep a smile on your face, leave your pain at my place.
All right. Well, I find this absolutely fascinating, all the different machines that are available and the power of yourself in healing and literally in your hands with the additional machines that are available too. What else would you say are things that people, we've seen what you do as a chiropractor, but also you advise them on their eating habits, their lifestyle, and I believe also you mentioned how they have the power within themselves and their intention on how they wish to heal, or do they wish to heal?
That's right. What I like to I tell people the two most important nutritional aspects of their body are water and oxygen. So as a general rule, you should be drinking half your weight in ounces of water. And in breathing, you should breathe the full length of your lungs. So you take a deep breath in and try not to breathe quick enough so you can hear yourself. Breathe slower so you can't hear yourself breathing at all. That brings the air into your lungs, and it takes more time in the lungs, so you absorb more oxygen. So getting more oxygen in your body, getting more water in your body, and then eating good, nutritious foods.
Okay, and do you recommend they have to be a vegetarian? Can they eat meat? Or when you say nutritious foods, what are you finding out there? What are people doing?
Well, people are doing quite a number of things. Fast food is one of the worst things that a person can do. When you have food that isn't properly grown with pesticides, insecticides, herbicides, you're getting toxins into your body. So you don't want to eat food that's been grown in a toxic condition. I encourage people to stay away from simple carbohydrates. So get bread out of your diet, get cereals out of your diet, get crackers and chips out of your diet, white potatoes, pasta. It's unfortunate because a lot of fast foods have just that in it. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, when you look at the date stamps on breads in the grocery store, they take out all the nutritious parts of the grains because they want it to stay on the shelf longer.
Right, shelf life.
Yeah, getting the shelf life. So it's important to be able to allow yourself to eat foods that will feed you. Eat foods that will heal you. It's important to also get enough sleep so that you are quiet during the day. There's something called the circadian rhythm, and every 2 hours your body cleanses a certain part of the body. So between 11 and 1 at night, your gallbladders are being cleansed. Between 1 and 3, your liver's being cleansed. Between 3 and 5, your lungs are being cleansed. So you might wake up at 15 till 4 o'clock, feeling refreshed because your lungs are getting new oxygen in that it's cleaning out. Between 5 and 7, your large intestine gets cleansed, and it goes through that 24-hour period.
Mm-hmm. So do you recommend people eat a lot more vegetables? Are you seeing people eating vegetables or not at all? Or the typical person that comes in, don't you have a little test to see if they have enough vegetables in their system or something?
Well, it's not a matter of vegetables, but the the biophotonic scanner can tell us that. It's important to eat more raw foods. My breakfast is a blended drink. I usually have for protein, I usually have a nut, a Brazil nut, an almond, a walnut, or a filbert, or sunflower seeds. I put them into the blender, but before that I put water and a little aloe vera gel because we have two skins. The inside skin is the inside of your body from your mouth to your bottom, and that needs to be cleansed. I used to be a Coca-Cola junkie. I would drink 2 liters a day.
Whoa, that's a lot.
Yeah, and so when I realized that I was drinking an acid, I just cold turkeyed it. So for a year, my body was kind of transitioning out of the Coca-Cola habit to no Coca-Cola, and I then got healthier and was able to have more internal healthy flora.
Right, and you mentioned you have what you have for breakfast. You mentioned the nuts, but you didn't mention the vegetables.
What I do is
I
have a powder that's a freeze-dried powder that has a lot of vegetables and some fruits in it. I put in kale, chard, mustard, a little spinach. Then I put in a couple sticks of celery. I'll take a beet, I'll cut the root up, and then I'll put the stems and the leaves in, and then I'll blend it all up in the blender, and that will be a very nutritious, fresh, organically grown vegetable.
And it's raw.
It's raw.
Yeah. And the idea the nutrients raw can get in your system better than it cooked?
They do. They have their own enzymes in them. When you heat anything more than 117, 123 degrees, you then lose the enzymes. So now you're not having to use your bodily enzymes, you get enzymes from the food, and you end up having a much higher biophotonic scanner score than you would otherwise. So I encourage people to really get a chance to eat more fresh foods, allow themselves to take time to eat. Don't eat fast. You want to chew your food completely before you swallow it. That's the first part of the digestion through the enzymes in your mouth. Then the stomach continues the digestion. And eat slowly. You want the food to be used for its intended purpose, which is to make you stronger, give you energy, keep your sense of humor with you.
And also you said you don't like to have water drunk with your meal because it doesn't work with the stomach juices or something?
Correct. When you drink a liquid after you've eaten a solid food, you're diluting the hydrochloric acid in your stomach. So you either have to produce more hydrochloric acid or you aren't going to digest the food. Food does one of two things. It digests or it putrefies. You don't want your food putrefying because it's creating gas. That gas is going to be burps or farts, and it's uncomfortable, and it's not nutritious.
Right. Well, I think this is fascinating that we have a real eye onto what you do for a living, and I know that is your passion. It is something that you don't even feel it's work, that it's a great thing. And I know I've talked to a number of your patients who have complimented you on all your wonderful healing efforts. So I think everybody should know about Dr. Kirk Whitaker Jones, Bellevue Chiropractic, and also that you do have a website. Is that correct?
I do, www.bellevuechirocenter.com.
Okay, and you can always Google that too. But I think this is an amazing eye into what happens. And I know I've had chiropractic work done on me, but I've never seen it from the other side, watching somebody get worked on. So it's really fun and amazing that it really works. And there's so much more than just what people have talked about, you know, the bone cracker and whatnot. I mean, it's a holistic approach, and it's a great approach. Do you have any other words of wisdom for anybody out there?
Well, keep a smile on your face. Leave your pain at my place.
I think that's perfect. All right. Well, thank you, Dr. Jones.
You're welcome.
And that's it for Transitions, Body, Mind, Spirit. Thank you. Stay tuned.